together and figure out best practices. I know we've been working together on the CMIPS conversion and things like that. So we work together when that is what is needed to benefit the member.
Yeah, and just a little bit in addition to that, I think this speaks to the comments I made earlier about sort of us being the professional advocates, but not necessarily having all the answers. It takes your engagement. So, I think we do necessarily have the muscle in the building to get things done, but we may not have the answers. So we need your engagement to better understand the issue so that we can hopefully get legislation or have something done administratively.
Thank you, Jovan. Here's another question on the statewide local. Part of what we know, what SICA knows about this, is that last year SICA was invited to testify at a hearing that I believe it was SEIU that had it down in Southern California, and it was about this thing called a statewide local, which quite honestly I'm not sure any of us know what that means. So here's another question about using the term statewide local. I've heard there will be a statewide SEIU local. Is this true? If so, what will the process be, and how will that affect me as a consumer?
I would say what SEIU views as the best way to represent members in any industry is to have people who do the same work together. When you have a common employer, you want to have leverage. We then work together with partners, consumers, other unions to fulfill those goals. So there was a vote we have an annual every 4-year convention of SEIU, which is members voting on policies, and there was a vote that in any state there should be one union that represents long-term care workers. In California, there used to be, I believe, 15. We are now down to 3. We are in a process of getting there. That process is moving along. What I will say is, we work closely together to make sure that our goals are met, and our goal this year is to protect IHSS from cuts. So there are 3 locals. We are working in lockstep. So where it benefits the consumer is, I think, as John said on the earlier panel, of using our political power, and the political power combined with the strength of the consumers and the other unions to make sure that every legislator knows what our priorities are.
Do you want to add anything to that? Okay. A few years ago, the UDW was quick to raise our dues. We never have meetings or get any support to fight for our program. What does the union intend to do to save IHSS?
Yeah. Well, to whoever drafted that question, you must not have called me. Because I sort of have an open door policy, open phone policy. So I know that I work very hard on behalf of the members of UDW. And sometimes, I think this kind of speaks to the labeling that I think we need to get away from. We have to understand that the union itself is very diverse, just like the IHSS program. We have various departments within the union. Within the departments, we have certain chapters that are county specific. So if one piece of that is not working, I think the tendency shouldn't be to say the union is not working. So that's sort of my response to the question. I can't really respond. I don't deal directly with membership meetings, but I know anytime that I'm called upon to come to a membership meeting, if I'm available, I will be there, just like I'm here today, educating people. That's my passion, and I would not disregard our membership, just like I don't disregard those of you in this room.
I think just to be clear on process, and I believe this is the same process in UDW as in SEIU, dues rates are voted on by the members. So as I said, we have a convention. Our members' dues are set by votes of the members, so that when people talk about the union, I think people need to remember that the union is the members. We are nothing, other than a group of members together. And so that's how those are decided. And I would say, especially, this past year where, millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars were spent on the multiple lawsuits to protect IHSS, but just like the challenge you all have in organizing others to get more involved, our members have that challenge. I talk to members often who say, if only I could get more people in my county to come, we could be stronger. So we all face the same challenge of organizing, and our job is to make sure our active members have the skills and the resources to organize more members into action.
If things continue on this path, would you ever consider a strike? you can imagine how catastrophic that would be for consumers. Would you ever consider a strike?
Again, I think that's a very premature question. Right now, we're not even contemplating a strike. Will we do so in the future? I can't give you the answer to that. I just can't give you the answer to that. We will not contemplate, I don't think, a strike. We're in this for the long haul, I believe, just like all of you are. One of the things I hope comes across, even though if it's a question that's not being asked, is that we're committed to this. I think Rebecca, they may have issues going through some consolidation of SEIU, but I think through it, I think they're going to try to remain committed, as they always have been. We're individuals. I think the more you get to know us, we won't be seen sort of as the green shirts or as ASME or the purple shirts or SEIU. I hope who we are as people come across, and I think who we are as people sort of influence the organizations in which we're a part of.
And Rebecca?
I mean, I would say no, we would not consider a strike, but I want to be clear about why. The idea of the strike is to affect a decision maker, whether it's an employer, a corporation, whoever that is. When you strike a consumer, the consumer is not getting care. We're not fighting with consumers for against cuts or cuts in wages or raises. That's not who our fight is with. Our fight collectively is with county supervisors or the governor or state legislators. So a strike doesn't get us where we want to go because it doesn't affect the decision maker that we're trying to affect.
Okay, no pink signs yet. So will the union entertain having consumers on their board, either the local board or the statewide board?
So the unions are governed by constitutions and bylaws that are, voted on by our members, but they're very specific that the union is made up of members, as I said, who have elected leaders at the local level. They are stewards, then they become, elected leaders, and they're elected to the union's board, and then we have an international executive board. So the people who are on our board are people who are represented by the union. We take a lot of time, resources, and really feel like it's important to work closely with coalition members. But the way our structure is governed, the board members are made up of members who are represented, and then those members set the direction of the union, which is to work collectively with coalitions like this.
Ditto.
Ditto. Okay. I have a dream. Workers having sick leave and paid annual leave. And that's the question. Any comments?
That's a question or a statement?
That's a statement,
Oh, okay.
and that's on a question
We
card.
share that dream.
Yeah, I have a dream too. So.
Okay.
But if I could say, we have, it's a symbolic, but I think a significant victory. We this week finished bargaining our contract in Sacramento County, and one of the things we got was a study of paid time off. In what are the barriers? We've all heard for years, right? It's just not possible. You can't do it. Aside from the money, that there's administrative barriers. So in our contract, we're going to study it. There's no money for it right now. I don't want to overpromise or make people feel like it's coming tomorrow. But it certainly is, it is just a place that is untenable to say that there is not paid leave for home care workers. We have to get out of the fight we're in and protect the program, and then we've got to build it. But it's our dream as well.
You good? Okay. This is a long one. I live in Imperial Valley. My union does not provide me with any information or on current events or representation